At first, the firefighters responded to a seemingly normal house fire in California. As they went inside, though, they were shocked to find something unbelievably heartbreaking within the blaze. Firefighters were shocked at the scene they encountered inside this house. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one. Glen Cove Fire Department in California received a call about a house fire, so with no time to lose, firefighters rushed to the blaze on the corner of V Street and Laurel Avenue. When they arrived at 4:00 p.m., the team of rescuers found smoke billowing from the windows. In fact, it looked like the raging fire had penetrated the entire house as well as an adjacent garage. Thankfully, however, the sole occupant had managed to flee the flames. His name was Edward Van Tassel, and when fire crews arrived, they found him outside his home. Van Tassel later revealed how he had been sleeping upstairs when the fire first broke out. Luckily, when he woke up from his slumber and realized what was happening, he was able to escape the inferno. Unfortunately, though, he hadn't escaped the blaze completely unscathed. Indeed, experts at the scene believe Van Tassel was suffering from smoke inhalation. As a result, emergency crews whisked him off to Lompoc Valley Medical Center for examination. Before he left, however, he gave firefighters some grave news. Heartbreakingly, Van Tassel revealed that his puppy was still inside the burning building. The firefighters then rushed to a room on the second floor where the young animal was trapped. But when they got there, what they saw really didn't add up. The puppy named Pooh was completely hemmed in, and he was in an overturned box that someone had weighted down. Furthermore, emergency crews saw that the dog was wearing a muzzle and had its rear legs tied with rubber bands. Thankfully, rescuers were able to remove Pooh before he succumbed to the fire, and once they'd freed him, they snipped off the bands on his limbs and removed the muzzle. But unsurprisingly, what they had witnessed inside the burning house had set some alarm bells ringing. There were some signs of possible cruelty. It was an odd situation. Battalion Chief Mark Clayton told KSBY. As a result, firefighters were keen to comfort the puppy, and touching photos from the scene showed the men comforting the little animal. So, after calming Pooh down, the crew gave him a much-needed drink before transferring him to animal control. Then they took Pooh to a local veterinary clinic where an animal expert could check him out. Fortunately, the vet found that the dog wasn't suffering from many life-threatening injuries. However, from the way in which firefighters found Pooh, it was clear that the dog had endured an awful ordeal. Indeed, Jan Glick, Santa Barbara Animal Services Director, found Pooh's circumstances extraordinarily strange. In fact, Glick told KSBY that in her 38-year career of helping animals, she'd only come across dogs bound in this way twice. It was her feeling then that Pooh had been subjected to some form of animal abuse. The very next day, therefore, detectives launched an investigation into the situation, and all the evidence pointed to one person. So, after compiling their evidence against him, police obtained an arrest warrant for Pooh's owner, Edward Van Tassel. According to Glick, when Animal Services received the dog, he had some telltale signs of abuse. For instance, the little puppet suffered wounds to his mouth and had a swollen leg. These were injuries that Glick said were consistent with someone or something restricting the puppy's movement. Faced with this evidence, police took Van Tassel into custody and later charged him with intentionally injuring an animal. And at Van Tassel's hearing, a judge at Locke Superior Court set Van Tassel's bail at $20,000. So, while detectives continued to investigate the charges, Van Tassel went to Santa Barbara County Jail. If he's found guilty of cruelty to animals, he could face 1 year in prison and a $1,000 fine, but this was not the first time that Van Tassel became known to police. It emerged that Van Tassel is an Iraqi war veteran who first attracted attention after leaving the military. Indeed, in 2008, authorities accused him of waving an unloaded pistol over a Santa Barbara overpass. The incident also caused a police standoff and resulted in traffic chaos. And according to the Santa Maria Times, Van Tassel has battled mental health issues and has other criminal activities on his record. In 2008, for example, police charged him with stalking Hollywood superstar Tom Cruise, and the actor later took out a restraining order on him. Meanwhile, Pooh was making a good recovery and doing his best to put his dark past behind him. As a result, vets put him in the care of a foster family who could aid his rehabilitation further. Presumably, the shelter will put Pooh up for adoption in Santa Barbara County when he is fully recovered. So in a strange way, the horrific fire turned out to be positive for the puppy in the long term, because now he is free from his life of abuse. Did you love this adorable story? Be sure to share it with your friends and leave your thoughts in the comments below.